Hello, ladies and gentlemen, fantasy football players around the world. Welcome to the Fantasy Cave podcast. I am here. My friend Funk is still off, so this will be the last week that you will see just me here. So, if you got sick of me, this is the last week you got to deal with me. And sorry about that. That was the first time that's happened to me on when recording. But anyway, we are here with a great episode for you guys today. We're going to go over the week 3 matchups in my fantasy football league that I'm in. Basically, this series is for my fantasy football league that I run. Well, I don't run them. My friend runs. And, yeah. So, let's go ahead and get into the matchups here. And then go into next week's matchups that are coming up this week. And then break down the matchups and starts and sits. So, first things first, we had my matchup with Nate. I finally fell. My team really just didn't do great. All in all, both our teams didn't really... The highest scores on our team was our running back or our quarterbacks. That's not great. Even my bench was absolutely terrible. Like Jamal Williams, like DeAndre Swift was hurt. Apparently, he got an injury in the game. Didn't know that. And they suddenly used him, and Jamal Williams had all the carries. So going forward, Jamal Williams is going to be the guy that I'm going to be using, I guess, while DeAndre Swift got hurt. Which is a great pivot option to have if you have Jamal Williams. Because the next couple weeks, they play very favorable matchups for the running back. And Jamal Williams is going to... he's the running back 7 in fantasy right now? Do you know that? Do you know he's the running back 7 in fantasy? That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. The fact that he is running back 7 so far is bonkers. And with Swift out, I think Swift should be out until after their bye. And if that is the case, and that does happen, you better hope you have Jamal Williams, because if not, you're gonna be very upset. And Eckler has been so bad for me. I don't know why, but he's just been consistent enough to get me over that 10-point threshold where I'm just like, I guess it's okay, but it's just like, for the thing that I wasted on him, the pick I wasted on him, it shouldn't have been like that. You should be getting way more points off of him. And it just gets worse because his lineman is out for the year. Rashawn Slater is going to be out for a while. Their center's hurt. Herbert's hurt. It's just very difficult, and it could have been interesting if Cortland Sutton would have had a touchdown in that final game. I would have been able to come back, maybe, but Everett only giving me 4 points, Swift only giving me 7, and congrats to him. Like, he only had Kirk Cousins he had a late touchdown. If it wasn't for that late touchdown to Kirk Cousins, we'd be looking at a victory for your boy. But unfortunately, a 60-yard touchdown to KJ Osborne kind of ruined my day. But yeah, and Terry McLaurin in garbage time. That was a big shock as well to my system. But moving on to, it's Deebo and the Hellraisers. The Hellraisers falls yet again to Lamar Jackson, who right now is the fantasy football favorite for an MVP. He's just unbelievable right now, and it looks like it's just going to get better for him. The fact that, I think the next couple weeks he plays Buffalo. That's a tough matchup, but he'll still give you good quality. Then Cincinnati, Giants, Cleveland. At least Giants and Cleveland. Sorry about that. Had a sneezing fit. You ever have one of those? No? Just me? Okay. That's fine. Anyway, back to Lamar Jackson. Lamar, right now, man, he's unstoppable. And for his team, 23 points from Amari Cooper. That is fantastic. I think Amari Cooper lately has had 25 points. He is looking good the last couple weeks, and he's just going to get better. He faces Atlanta this week. He's deserving of a start until he doesn't do anything. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry went off. He had a touchdown, and he caught some passes, which was good to see. I having issue with my hair today, if you can't tell. But, and of course, James Robinson is just fantastic. Another great week now. What does affect is David Montgomery getting hurt, which I just want to talk about how in the waivers recently, which kind of ticked me off, Hellraisers got a hold of both Khalil Herbert and Alexander Mattison when it was probably because he was higher priority on the waiver wire, but it's just, I don't understand this format's waivers, because normally when you get a waiver, you go back down to the bottom, and he got two of the top players in this. It's just not fair. It really isn't fair, but when your only good player this week was Joe Burrow and Saquon Barkley, I guess that's understandable. When Amon-Ra being hurt, that could be an issue, but Amon-Ra, they're saying he's going to be okay. Next, moving on to CDC Guidelines, and I'm going to finish last. Oh, this team just crapped the bed this week. Really bad. DJ Moore is almost deserving of a drop at this point. And Matthew Stafford stunk. The Chargers defense let him down. It's just all in all just terrible. Just this team just fell apart, and it's like on paper looks fantastic. It's a really good team. It's just when Stafford's having a down year, DJ Moore's doing nothing. Jefferson doesn't go off like normal. Mixon has a bad day. And then Andrews has the only good day on your team. Yeah, that's not great. And then for this side, CeeDee Lamb and Russell Gage. Russell Gage is a late add. I actually talked to the owner of the co-owner of this team, and it's not going to repeat with Russell Gage because Mike Evans and everybody's back, but he went off for 24 points and basically was the reason why she won this week. And Aaron Rodgers had a good enough game to get by. And CeeDee Lamb came up big, too. CeeDee Lamb, I think that it was already in hand before CeeDee Lamb even was there, along with Devin Singletary, which he is interesting as well, at least going down the end, because if you look at the final stretch of his schedule, you have the Jets, Miami, Chicago, Cincinnati. Again, Miami's defense does not scare me. Jets defense does not scare me. Chicago, my team, they don't scare me. I would go try to pick up Devin Singletary as a running back right now. Later in the later, or even like a Javonte. I've been trying to get Javonte in several leagues because maybe for like an Austin Eckler, because Javonte is going to get better as the weeks go on. Anyway, moving on to a battle of marital issues. Designated drinkers versus cars against humanity. This was another issue of a team crapping out on you, and it's kind of difficult when you're going up against Josh Allen and the Stephon Diggs stack, which Josh Allen was amazing yet again. Stephon Diggs had a little bit of a down game, but still 14 points. You can't complain about that. DK had a good day, too. When you're facing Atlanta Falcons, it's kind of easy to see. Dalvin Cook getting hurt did hurt this team, though. Dalvin Cook getting hurt, it hurt. And then Dalton Schultz not even playing. That sucks. But 10 points for Dallas's defense. Christian Kirk is just stinking amazing at this point. He has performed each and every single week, regardless of, look at those point totals. That's amazing. Now, this week against Philly, it's going to be tough. Philly is a really good defense. But weeks to come, it's looking good. On the Carr side, Derek Carr was really the only good player on this team. Everyone else basically did their best impression of some of my team. It'll still be okay because at the end of the day, you have A.J. Dillon had a down week. Darrell Henderson, it was all Cam Akers. And James Conner did get hurt in this game as well. So, it's still early. So, anything is possible. It's a 14-week season. There's a lot of time going forward with these matches. We're just going into week 4. So, then we go to my opponent for this week, the Cack Attack. Every time I face him, it could end badly. And I got to face Jalen Hurts, which, good luck. Jalen Hurts is a actual problem to deal with. On this side, on the exclamation point team side, they had a good week. A lot of their players did well. Michael Thomas got hurt in the game. Miles Sanders got hurt. Christian McCaffrey really didn't do a lot. He struggles against New Orleans normally, but you can't bench him. And Mike Williams didn't have as many points. And Kyler Murray was terrible. Hollywood was fantastic, though, on the bench. And maybe if he started Marquise Hollywood Brown, he probably would have been better off. But Michael Thomas facing Carolina, you kind of have to chase those points. And the fact, Ramondre Stevenson putting up 20 points was not expected. So looking at this, again, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, those two guys, they're an actual problem. But other than that, Aaron Jones fumbled, so he had a bad day. J.K. Dobbins, he's still not worthy of starting in my book. And Kyle Pitts had a decent enough day along with Drake London, but the big thing that really pushed it over was just Jalen Hurts. Again, it was just Jalen Hurts. And honestly, when you have a quarterback that gives you 33 points, kind of gives it away there. But we're going to move on to week 4. First off, we have the Book of Mormon, me, and the Cack Attack, my opponent. This could go either way. Honestly, I do have Patrick Mahomes. He has Jalen Hurts. It's going to be very difficult for both of us, I'm sure. Pittman is going to bounce back. I do believe Pittman is going to bounce back. Cooper Kupp's playing San Francisco. That could go either way, but Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. Jalen Waddle, I need him to play this week. I need him to play. He's I have 2 wide receiver 1s on this team. Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, and Cortland Sutton. So basically I have 3 wide receiver 1s. And Pittman was good, but he just didn't have that big day that I normally would think. He's necessary. Waddle, he has the touchdown upside. What I need is Eckler to finally have this bounce back game. Finally go off. I just need that to happen and finally have the day that I know he can have. And Jamal Williams is my running back start of the week. He is going to have a day against Seattle. Look at what Cordell Patterson did last week to these guys. And that's all you need to know. Really, Seattle has been terrible against the run, and Jamal Williams is going to have a touchdown, if not more, in this game. Write it down. Write it down right now. It's going to happen. Aaron Jones against New England. Now, Aaron Jones against New England, that is going to be tough. I'm benching him in some places, but you have to play him if you have Aaron Jones. New England has a way that they take away your best option. They aren't going to be afraid of the wide receivers. What they are going to be afraid of is Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So they are going to go all out in stopping the run. That means stopping Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I don't see going well for either of these running backs. J.K. Dobbins, same thing. He faces Buffalo. That's all you need to know. Buffalo, I mean, last week, yeah, Chase Edmonds had 2 touchdowns, but Chase Edmonds had less yards than he had touchdowns almost. That's not great. In the tight end area, this could go either way as well. Gerald Everett has done enough for me. He's just had a down week last week, but he's still getting the target, so he's worthy of starting. I was thinking of swapping to Njoku, but right now, I feel like Gerald Everett is good enough to start, unless I see otherwise. Kyle Pitts on the other end, it could go either way. Kyle Pitts is going to be an interesting start as well against Cleveland. Cleveland has been pretty good against the tight end, but their defense is not great. So, and then Cortland Sutton and Drake London, both those guys are going to be good as well. And it may just come down to our defenses. I mean, Cincinnati facing Miami, that could go either way. I still think Miami is going to be all right and going to be able to put up points against Cincinnati's defense. And then Green Bay facing New England with the backup quarterback. Give me that. Give me that all day long, please. Then next we have I'm going to finish last in Hellraisers. Well, Olave added is really good. Olave being added in this lineup, I like a lot. Here, though, it's just too much when you have to deal with Leonard Fournette, Najee Harris, and stinking Saquon Barkley. That is very difficult to deal with. And I have to give it to Hellraisers there. There's not much they can really do with that. And then Designated Drinkers versus Nate. Nate, our undefeated, only undefeated team left so far. I think this is the week it finally ends. Unless Dalvin Cook doesn't play. If Dalvin Cook and Dalton Schultz are both out, Tony Pollard could go in, but really, who are you going to throw in at the wide receiver or the tight end position? There's not a lot of good options. I'm tempted to go pick up a certain guy to go stash, to basically take away the top option. And honestly, I'm going to go do that right now, actually. I'm going to go do that right now. We're going to go in here, go to tight ends, and David Njoku, drop Treylon Burks. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. I don't normally like doing this. Oh, it went through. Oh. I didn't know I got this accepted. Holy crap, guys. Holy crap. I just got Kareem Hunt. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. Yes. See, that's the thing. This guy, I'm going to finish last. You know who you are. I love trading with this guy. Every year he makes good trades with me, and that's another decent trade to make right there. Thank you for that. So now we gotta go back to our matchups here. So if he gets Chase Edmonds and Treylon Burks, he could I still don't think it pushes it over the edge, but he has a better option than Travis Etienne this week. At least should, right? Will he get? I think he'll get him on Sunday. Yeah. So, I still think that's going to be very difficult against that. But yeah, Nate's team, I'm sorry, Nate, it's going to end for you. Here, again, I've seen upsets, but I just with Connor hurt and all that stuff right now, and with Lamar playing the way he is, and Derrick Henry playing in Indianapolis, and James Robinson playing the way he is, I gotta go with it's Deebo there. But and then last but not least, we have CDC Guidelines and exclamation point. This is interesting as well. Now, here it could be exclamation point, get back on the track. I do see that possibly happening, but it's only if they play their guys. I like Alexander Madison in this matchup. If he plays, I guarantee he throws him in over Michael Thomas, most likely. And on the CDC Guidelines side, they need to hope Keenan Allen comes back, because if not, well, it's not looking too great for them. And that is all the matchups for next week. We're going to get into the actual matchups, do some start and sit. Okay, here we are. Let's start with Miami versus Cincinnati. I believe in this game, Tua is questionable. Jalen Waddle is questionable, but they will both play from what I hear. I think that, honestly, here, this could go either way. This is a great matchup. I think this is going to be, I believe the over-under is what's the over-under in this matchup? Does it say over-under? The over-under is 48 points. So that's looking pretty good. I think here Cincinnati does drop Miami with their first loss, just with Tua hurt. I still think it'll be okay for Miami. Tua will still do all right. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are both going to have great days, so you're starting both of them, obviously. I don't need to tell you not to start them. But Chase Edmonds in this matchup, I'd go trade him. See, that's why I traded him. Trade him now before he drops down and get him for his high spot. Look, I went and traded Chase Edmonds and Treylon Burks for a upgrade in Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt has been excellent so far in PPR formats. He's pretty good as a running back that you can have. And really, right now, I'm kind of even thinking about starting him over Eckler if he keeps not producing. So, that is an option. Tua in this matchup, you can play Tua, Burrow. They can both be played. I'm not worried about Miami or Cincinnati's defense. Cincinnati's defense can be difficult. They have been pretty good so far, except for the first game against Pittsburgh. But other than that, Tua is definitely playable, and so is Burrow. The running backs, the only one I'm looking to start is Joe Mixon, if he plays. They said he's good to go, so he should be fine. If not, Samaje Perine is a guy who you should try and pick up as well. But on the wide receiver side, this is a game I want to start all of the wideouts I can, except for Tyler Boyd, which he has 1 or 2 good games a year. He's not worth starting. And the tight ends, which I'm not looking to start them. If you're in a pinch, you can start Hayden Hurst if you're in a PPR league, but I want to start him any other way possible. Moving on to the Sunday slate, we have the Giants versus the 2-1 Chicago Bears, which let me just tell you right now, my team, my Chicago Bears, what are you doing? What are you doing? Again, I've talked about this last week, and Justin Fields looks so freaking bad, man. He's so bad. He's so bad. I understand he's learning a new offense again, but he should fix this. He should fix this. At some point, he needs to wake up and start being a quarterback and start playing the game, like, he's barely throwing the football, which, granted, our power is running. Our power is running. Like, Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery. David Montgomery is questionable for this game. I think if he is out, Khalil Herbert is a must start as well. So you need to start Khalil Herbert. Oh my God, my hair today. As you can see, my hair today does not like me at all. But basically in this matchup, you're not starting the quarterbacks. The running backs definitely are startable. Saquon Barkley is definitely a guy that needs to start. And the defense, I'm actually looking to play the Giants defense against the Bears. I mean, going forward, every defense against the Bears, give it to me because Justin Fields sucks. And he turns the ball over, and they don't do much points on the board. So if you want a high point total for your defense, pick the Bears. So, and the wide receivers, I'm not looking to start wide receivers or tight ends, any of them in this matchup. Now, I will say Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson are worse stashes. They are worse stashes, especially if you're in Dynasty, because they're going to be necessary. Sterling Shepard got another major injury again. So Tony's gonna be necessary at some point. I know when he's injured quite a bit, but when he's on the field, he produces, and when they actually give him the ball, he produces and puts up big numbers. In this game, can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna choose the Bears to win this game. Yeah. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Dallas looked good. Dallas's defense, like if Cooper Rush just plays game manager and the defense keeps doing what they're doing, they will be fine until Dak comes back. They really, really will. And Washington, they're going to have to put up points to keep up. So this could be a very low-scoring, not eventful game. In this game, I mean, the quarterbacks aren't worthy of starting. Cooper Rush actually is an interesting stream candidate because he did look good, and Washington's defense doesn't look that great either. I mean, look at what Jalen Hurts did to them last week. And Zeke and Pollard are both worthy of starts as well. Just Zeke, temper your expectations because it's working. The run game is working with Zeke, but every time he starts getting ahead of steam, they take him off for Pollard. So you're going to have to temper your expectations. Pollard looks amazing. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and maybe Jahan Dotson are all guys who are worthy of starts. In the wide receiver department, it's just CeeDee Lamb, and that's pretty much it. Noah Brown has been looking good lately if you're desperate for a start, but Cowboys are winning that game. Moving on to the London game. Saints and broken Jameis Winston versus the Minnesota Vikings. This game, I think, is going to be more high-scoring than you think. Dalvin Cook is hurt in this game. If he doesn't play, Alexander Mattison is going to be a smash start. Kirk Cousins, again, it's something with primetime games. Now, this isn't a primetime game, but it's the only game on, and if it's the only game on, Kirk Cousins falls apart. Kirk Cousins sucks. So, which Kirk Cousins are we going to see? We're going to see the sucky Kirk Cousins? We're going to see the good Kirk Cousins. I think this week we're going to see the good Kirk Cousins. I hope. I really hope. But New Orleans defense is pretty good. Kirk is going to have a tough day. He's going to throw some picks. He's going to turn the football over. I guarantee it. But Kirk's still going to have a good day, and I believe Jefferson bounces back this week. Olave is my wide receiver start of the week this week. After what he did last week, and Olave is starting to level up and become the wide receiver one for this team. And right now, I actually just traded him away in a dynasty league for a first-round pick. And I believe I got some other really good pieces as well. I believe I got James Robinson, if I'm not wrong with that. I believe so, yes. And a wide receiver, yeah. So, getting those guys, amazing. I mean, it hurt losing Olave, but Olave is going to, I believe he's going to level up each and every single week and get better and better for New Orleans. And Jameis Winston, who, say what you will about Jameis Winston, he's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game, but he's going to chuck the football and put up big numbers. Now, the guy who I'm worried about is Alvin Kamara. He's almost worthy of benching at this point. Kamara is a guy that, is this the week he finally, like running backs in general, if you wasted a pick on one of the top 5, 6 running backs this year, or like the top 10, they haven't really done a whole lot for you. I think the only one has been Derrick Henry. So, really, Kamara is a guy that, at this point, I'm looking to bench. I'm looking to bench if you have a better option. If you have a Jamal Williams, play him over Kamara, to be completely honest with you. If you have better options, play him. If you don't, stick with Kamara. I believe the Saints do pull out that matchup some way, shape, or form. I don't know how, but they are going to do it. Atlanta versus Cleveland. Atlanta coming off a win last week against Seattle. The Cleveland Browns coming off a win against the Steelers. In this matchup, the quarterbacks, Mariota is very interesting because of his rushing ability. I looking to start Mariota in this matchup. He is my quarterback start of the week, and here's why. Mariota has the rushing ability, of course, like I talked about, but he's playing Cleveland. Myles Garrett got into a car accident. I don't think he's playing. I don't think. Jadeveon Clowney's hurt. He's not playing. So where's the pass rush going to come from? And the Cleveland defense, unless they play a division rival, they haven't been that great. So Mariota is going to put up good numbers. Cordero Patterson, Nick Chubb, you're starting both of them. Kareem Hunt, he's worthy of a start in PPR formats as well. On the wide receiver side, Drake London has looked too good not to not start at this point. You have to start him. Amari Cooper as well. Donovan Peoples-Jones are the other receivers. I'm not looking to start them. And Njoku is interesting, but I want to see one more week before I decide to start Njoku in a lineup every week, because there was stuff that came out where Stefanski said that they aren't going to use him. Coverage is going to define whether he gets the ball or not. That's not great. That tells me that if you want to see a seesaw season, this is what you're going to see from him. So, basically, he's a matchup-proof guy. And Kyle Pitts, he did bounce back for like 13 points. I just need to say more, but he's still worthy of starting. I think Cleveland does win this one still, keeps those win still going on. And the Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very interesting matchup. The two teams that aren't that great. Amon-Ra is questionable for this game, I believe. No, he's not actually. Okay. I know he's questionable, but he has been practicing. In this game, you're not starting really anybody on Seattle's side except for, Penny can be started in this matchup because it is Detroit. But Lockett, I mean, he did put up a good week last week, so he's worthy to start. And DK needs started after what he did last week. But Jared Goff is my quarterback streamer of the week, because Seattle, Mariota put up some really good numbers against Seattle last week, and Goff is going to probably do the same. Goff is actually having a really good year right now. I mean, look at those numbers. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's not really been responsible for losses so far, which is shocking for Goff. And Swift being hurt, If he doesn't play, Jamal Williams, even if he does play, Jamal Williams is worthy of a start. I don't see DeAndre Swift being startable at this moment in time. And from what the coach said, I don't see them starting him. Or they may just have him practice, but he's not playing for the next couple weeks. On Amon-Ra, if he plays, you're playing him. TJ Hawkinson, he's okay to start. I mean, he did have some good numbers last week, so he's worthy to start. But if you have a better option, I would much rather go Njoku than him. Moving on to the Titans and the Colts. Colts getting that win last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. That late touchdown really did seal it for Indy. And Indy facing and Tennessee getting back on the winning track against the Raiders. The quarterbacks aren't worthy of starting, obviously. Derrick Henry is definitely worthy of a start. I think that he is going to have an amazing day. Jonathan Taylor, same thing. Obviously, you have to play Jonathan Taylor. The wide receivers for Tennessee, I'm not looking to start any of them, obviously. Michael Pittman, he's the only guy I'm looking to start in this matchup. Michael Pittman is going to have a huge day. I think he's going to get back on track and have a touchdown and have some big numbers like he has been this season. I do believe that this is the week we see. I mean, Indy looked not great, but I believe this is the week that they can get it together. And Tennessee's defense isn't that great, so I'm going to go with Indy this week. Then here's a very interesting matchup. The 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars, who have surprised a lot, especially last week. Trevor Lawrence looking good against the 3-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, in this game, Philly's defense looked really good. I'm not looking to start Trevor Lawrence yet, but they're going to need to keep up points in this game. Jalen Hurts obviously is a must start, but Trevor Lawrence is interesting. If he puts up good numbers against Philly, he's a quarterback streamer going forward because he is putting up some really good numbers. And with Doug Peterson, with him here in Jacksonville, it's going to be... This may be the year Jacksonville wins this division. And I can't believe I'm saying that because their team... You look at their team and they don't look great, but Robinson, Etienne, Kirk has had an amazing season. And Marvin Jones is still producing, and Zay Jones as well. Now, in this game, the only guy I'm looking to start, the two guys, is James Robinson, because James Robinson has been too good not to start, and Christian Kirk. I think James Robinson is not going to have a great game this week because it's Philly's defense, and Philly's defense looks really good. But Christian Kirk is a guy, he's going to get volume, he's going to have a good day. He's Trevor Lawrence's favorite target, and they're going to have to keep up. On the Philly side, Miles Sanders, he needs to be started, obviously. A.J. Brown, he needs to be started. And Devontae Smith, they obviously can be started, especially after what they did last week and him putting up 30 points. He needs started. And Dallas Goedert, of course, needs started as well, especially in tight ends. Jacksonville has been pretty good against tight ends, but Dallas Goedert, tight ends suck if you don't have the top three. So, if you don't have the top three, you kind of have to play Dallas Goedert. The Eagles are winning this game. If the Jags win, I'll be very shocked. Then moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets. Zach Wilson is going to be back for this game. So sadly, it bumps down a lot of the guys that I like in this matchup. I actually, in a league, just went and picked up Elijah Moore because Zach Wilson did look Elijah Moore's way a lot. So with him back, I think Elijah Moore is going to start bouncing back. Elijah Moore is going to be a lot better. In this game, you're not starting anybody on the Jets side except maybe Tyler Conklin if you're in desperate need of a tight end. On the quarterback side for Pittsburgh, you're not playing Mitchell Trubisky. And Najee, Deontay, and the Muth is the only three guys I'm looking to start for Pittsburgh. But if you have better options at tight end, you can start someone else over the Muth. So, in this game, I think Pittsburgh wins it. I really do. But I can see the Jets winning this game. Pittsburgh hasn't looked that great. Trubisky hasn't looked that great. And they may stick with Trubisky for a little while. And there may be questions going into the next week if he doesn't do well again to start Pickett. But Pickett's the third quarterback on their depth chart. They're not just going to throw Pickett in when Mason Rudolph's their backup. They're going to probably throw Mason Rudolph in. And if you look at their schedule, they play Tampa Bay, Buffalo, New England, and I believe Green Bay. Pittsburgh, if they don't win this game, may be looking at a 1-5 before their bye. That's bad. That is really bad. But I think the Steelers do win that game. I really do. Especially with Zach Wilson coming back. I just don't see that going well for the Jets because it's his first game back, and and especially against Pittsburgh, I don't think. And Pittsburgh, yeah, they're not winning it. Buffalo at Baltimore. Starting everybody in this matchup. Start everybody in this matchup. Except for J.K. Dobbins and Devin Singletary's worthy to be started. Except for the Ravens running backs. Don't start them against Buffalo. Don't do it. They are the best run defense. They will shut down this run game. Lamar, of course, will have a day. That is not shocking at all. And I don't have to tell you, you're starting Diggs, you're starting Gabe Davis. Even Isaiah McKenzie's interesting in the late, but Dawson Knox isn't worthy of being started yet. But Mark Andrews for sure, and Rashad Bateman absolutely as well. So, in this game, this could go either way, but I think Buffalo wins this game. I think they get back on track and win it late. Because Baltimore's defense is not as good as the Bills. And the Bills' defense really stinking good. They're just lucky. Miami just won it late. That's all that really was with that. If it was just that fourth down throw that Josh Allen would have made, Bills would have probably walked down and won that game. Next is the Chargers and the Houston Texans. Chargers just coming off of being humiliated last week by the Jags. And honestly, it just gets worse for them because Rashawn Slater's done for the year. Eckler hasn't been being used at all in the run game, really. And instead is being replaced by Sony Michel and these other little guys that they shouldn't be using. Eckler is the star of their offense. Use Eckler. And I think this is the week they're playing Houston. They need to let Eckler touch the football and do stuff with it. I think this week Eckler finally gets in the end zone, finally gets goal line carries, and they wake up and realize that they need to use him. Herbert, he is hurt, but you're starting him. If Keenan Allen's back, you're starting Keenan Allen, Mike Williams as well. Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett is a guy that if you have better tight end options, you can do it, but he's worthy to be started. I still think he's doing well. He got 6 targets last week. He's still going to be needed with Herbert being hurt. He's going to dump the ball off short. Everett is going to be necessary. On the Houston side, you're not starting Davis Mills. Dameon Pierce is interesting, but I think he's still a ways off. You're not starting Dameon Pierce yet. The only guy is Brandon Cooks. And I think Brandon Cooks, they're going to need to keep up score-wise. So I think Brandon Cooks will need to keep up with the score. And I think the Chargers do get back on track and win this game. Moving on to the Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. Cardinals in this game, they looked terrible against the Rams. Carolina won on a late touchdown last week. I mean, DJ Moore is not worthy to be starting this matchup, by the way. Really, the only ones I'm looking to start in this game, and I'll list them off, is Kyler Murray at quarterback. At running back, if James Conner's hurt, you're not playing James Conner, obviously. Christian McCaffrey. And for the wide receivers, it is Zach Ertz, Marquise Hollywood-Brown, and the Dortch, possibly. That's it. Not starting any of the Carolina Panthers guys. I don't want to. Carolina, they should be 0-3. They should be 0-3. They should not be 1-2 right now. This team is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And Arizona's probably going to win this game, but I could see it going either way considering how bad Arizona's defense is. But I'll give it to Arizona. Now, the Patriots versus the Green Bay Packers. If Mac Jones was playing in this game, I would have given it to New England. But with Mac Jones being hurt and with a high ankle sprain, it's Brian Hoyer against Green Bay's defense. So, yeah, Green Bay's defense, smash play this week. Aaron Rodgers, you got to play Aaron Rodgers after what he did last week. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are going to be necessary. I'm looking to start them, but it is Green Bay's defense. They have looked pretty good. They've shut down the run pretty decently this year. I think the only one that's really went off against them was David Montgomery, actually. So with David Montgomery being the only running back that's had a good day for them, or a good day against this defense, I'm not looking to play the running backs against Green Bay. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, I talked about them earlier. They still should be started, but they aren't going to have great numbers. And I'm just going to tell you that right now because Bill Belichick does this every time. He takes your number one option away, and he will know their number one option is Aaron Jones. And Aaron Rodgers they're not, you mean to tell me they're afraid of Aaron Rodgers receivers? They're not. Bill Belichick is not going to be afraid of all these rookie receivers and unproven receivers. And he's going to lock down Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, 100%. You're not starting anybody on the New England side for wide receivers. And one guy I will say is worthy of on Green Bay side is Romeo Doubs. They have been jumping up this kid. He had a great day last week, and they said they want to use him as the wide receiver 1. And I think this is a guy that is worthy of being stashed and kept going forward because Romeo Doubs could have an amazing day, an amazing year, and this could be the tipping point where he just starts breaking out and he becomes the new wide receiver 1 for Aaron Rodgers. And it could be him because I know they wasted that high pick on Christian Watson, but Romeo Doubs may be the guy that has the good season going forward. And Big Bob Tonyan, keep him on your radar as well. He has gradually had more and more and more. So, and he is still coming back from the ACL. So if he comes back and he continue on doing more, he's worthy of a tight end pickup and start. Then we had the Broncos and the Raiders. I think the only winless team right now, other than the Houston Texans, left in the league. And Denver has, Russell Wilson has not looked great. There's been a lot of inconsistency on the offense. The coaching staff, there's been a lot of inconsistency. It's just been very odd to watch. And Vegas, they've just not been great. Josh Jacobs, he had a decent week the week before, but it's been all over the place with that. Josh McDaniels needs some time to put his stamp on this team. and it's going to take a while, and I think this is going to be a bad year for Vegas. Derek Carr, he may be out the door, but I think he's going to stick around. Derek Carr is not... You're not starting anybody on Vegas other than Waller and Devontae Adams. I mean, Jacobs is still worthy of being started, I guess, but Denver's defense, say what you will about Denver's defense, but they've been pretty... or about Denver, but their defense has been really good to this point, and they have shut down a lot of people point-wise. I mean, San Fran only had 10 points against them, so their defense has kept them in the games, and they've done pretty well. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they're both starts, and Courtland Sutton is my wide receiver must start of the week, because Sutton, facing Vegas, their secondary is dreadful, and he's necessary. Jerry Jeudy, I believe he is still... Is he still questionable? It's not showing him on the thing. But Jerry Jeudy, it seems like Courtland Sutton is going to be the guy. So, with Courtland Sutton being the guy, he's the favorite target of Russell Wilson. He has put up consistent numbers. I think this is the week Sutton does get in the end zone, and Russell Wilson starts to get better, I hope. But I think Denver still wins this game out. Moving on to the Sunday Night Football game. I know this game was actually up in questions because... and being moved because of the Hurricane Ian going through Tampa Bay. And I think they did actually move it somewhere else. But Tampa... In this game, they did not look good last week against Green Bay. Kansas City had a down week against Indianapolis, but they still looked good. The wide receivers for both teams did not look great, except for Russell Gage. But really, in this game, you're starting Mahomes. Brady, I mean... I'm not looking to start him against Kansas City. And Brady could be okay, but he didn't exactly do good last week, and the frustration's starting to show. For the running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and the running backs, I mean, you can start Clyde. It is Tampa Bay, so temper your expectations with the run game, but he will be used in the passing game. I believe Mahomes does bounce back and has a good day here. I do see that happening, and this could be a shootout. It could, but I don't see that happening in this game. I still think that Mahomes, Brady, they both should be decent in this game. Fournette, he's worthy of a start, obviously, and the only guys I'm looking to start is Travis Kelce, Mike Evans. That's it. I'm not looking to start Russell Gage and go chasing points again. Not looking to chase points for Juju Smith-Schuster or any of the wide receivers because they haven't shown me enough. And Kelce is the only consistent guy on Kansas City right now. So, Kansas City, I think they win this game against the Bucs. I'm going to just choose them to go with. And then the 2-1 Rams versus the 1-2 San Francisco 49ers. San Fran always plays the Rams hard. And I think San Francisco wins this game against the Rams in a very close, tight game. You're not starting Jimmy G. You're not starting Matthew Stafford if you can help it. And the running backs, like Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. After what Darrell Henderson did, and Cam Akers looks like he has now had the production of the majority of the carries. It looks like right now Cam Akers is the only running back I'm even worthy of even looking at and potentially starting. Jeff Wilson Jr., he's necessary. He's necessary right now. He needs started. But it is the Rams defense. Have fun. Have fun. The only ones I'm looking to play is Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk if you're desperate, and George Kittle and Tyler Higbee. Because Tyler Higbee has actually been pretty good with volume and catching the football and in full PPR leagues. So, in this game, San Francisco wins this game. Pretty much, like, it does seem like that. Was that the last game? It was. Okay. So, this is going to be a shorter video, actually. We don't actually have to go over an hour long, which is great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was all the matchups. That was the episode 3 of the Fantasy Cave podcast. If you all did enjoy, feel free, go ahead, hit that like button. We will be back next week with a new episode. The day may move to Saturday because Funk should be back. I'm gonna hit him up, and we should be able to get on Discord and get on a call together and record this together. If you want us to have special guests on, let us know. I'm looking to get other people from the league in the just to discuss some stuff and just talk football. And let us know if you guys want that. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay awesome, my fantasy football community.